What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another post game here on Rangers Central. And the Rangers start the season 1-0 as they they just demolished outright the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first game of the season. And I apologize for this being so late in case anyone missed my community post or didn't see on Twitter or anything. And I don't expect a lot of viewers because of how late this is. But I was at the Mets game tonight, so I couldn't do it. So I had to, go to the Mets game. By the time it took me to get back, I had to do the Mets post game still and then watch the game and do all of that. Unfortunately, I got a couple spoilers early for how this game went. But, man, that was fun to watch still regardless. They absolutely destroyed it. I'm glad that both my teams upset the entire state of Pennsylvania today because it felt like a preseason game, honestly. Like, with the way this game went, it truly did. And I mean it in the sense that the crowd was out of this game within the first, 4 minutes of the game. Outside of the early Igor taunts, the crowd was dead really quickly. And that might have been the quietest crowd I have ever heard for an opening night game in my life. And it was great. And it couldn't happen to a better fan base, by the way, who has witnessed all that winning. They could deal with the suffering for a bit, and I could care less. But I couldn't believe what my eyeballs saw tonight. I saw Jacob Trouba play good hockey. I saw this team do the reverse of what they usually do, and that is play quality 5-on-5 hockey instead of relying on the special teams. And outside of the first 5-10 minutes of the game in the first period, I mean, this was their game for the taking. And even then, they were the ones who got on the board within the first few minutes of the game, which again, they still look shaky a bit early, but outside of that, they outright dominated them. And this is the best game I've seen them play 5-on-5 in quite some time. Before we jump into everything, please be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. This is why I love Peter Laviolette, because he put an emphasis on the garbage that he saw in that last preseason game, and it got them ready to freaking work to go into this game. And that's why stuff like that mattered, because you have a coach that isn't going to sweep that under the rug and have them ready to go for puck drop game one, and that's what we saw tonight. And we saw a team that was out there ready to start the season on a freaking tear, and that's what they did. Granted, I am not going to do what I've done in previous years, because if we're going to rewind 2 years ago to 2022-23, coming off of the Gerard Gallant season, first season where they go to the conference finals, let's not forget how we reacted to how they absolutely demolished the Tampa Bay Lightning in that opening night game, which it was 3-1, so the score is a little bit closer, but let's be honest, with the way the Rangers played that game, it felt like they dominated. Fast forward to, or rewind / fast forward. We go to the 2023-24 season, though, nonetheless. We watched them outright destroy Buffalo, which I was in attendance for that game, and they demolished them, and that was one of the best games I've seen in my damn life. Tonight, they destroy Pittsburgh. Not going to sit here and run and go off parading, but it's a great start. It is a great start nonetheless, and I love watching what I saw from, everyone tonight. And of course, though, Sam Carrick, the guy that I ripped apart the most for that signing, the guy that I was making fun of the front office for signing, it would be him to open the scoring in this one, because of course it would, which, man, again, Jacob Trouba, how about him? He fires that shot. Sam Carrick deflects the puck in to kick off the scoring. But that wasn't even the greatest part, because fast forward a bit, the third line got a goal of their own, sort of, until it got called back because it was offsides. But, man, that was a beautiful, beautiful rip there. And I was confused at first because I'm watching this on demand, and I was skipping through, and I was like, wait, I thought the score was 2-0. I didn't realize that they called it back because, I was skipping through trying to get through this game as quick as possible, come on the post game so I could talk about it, because I already feel bad enough that I'm late. But regardless, still a beautiful play. Even though that got called back, still beautiful the way that third line was going. And then you get to probably the best part of this game entirely, the Lafrenière goal. Artemi Panarin picking the pocket of, was it Crystal Tang, or I think it was Crystal Tang, or I'll check exactly in my notes, but you have Artemi Panarin picking the pocket. I didn't even get who it was in the notes, but regardless, picking someone's pocket. Here the Rangers come the other way. Lafrenière with a toe drag, the fool Marcus Pettersson, or he does fool him, I should say, toe drags around and snipes it blocker side on Tristan Jarry. What a freaking goal, man. I mean, Lafrenière, he was probably the guy that I was most excited about going into the year regardless, but we are seeing more and more by the day why he is going to live up to the potential, why we were hyped about him going into the season, because holy crap, did he look so good tonight. Not just the goal, but I mean, that goal in particular was freaking filthy. And then we get later on, and again, this offense just continued to pour it on. That first line or second line, whatever you want to call it, the Mika line. Let's just say the Mika line. First of all, Mika set up Riley Smith for a beautiful opportunity at the door that ended up getting denied, but the Rangers continued to apply pressure. That first line, again, the Mika line, we'll just say, and they keep going. Mika's shot goes off of someone in front, and then here comes Chris Kreider to just bury it in on the open net to make it 3-0. They go into the intermission up 3-0. They outright demolish them. And again, the beginning of the game, a little shaky. They allowed a couple of opportunities. There was like a moment where Trouba, where early on he was looking a little bit rough. Like there was one point where he was jumping up to try and throw a hit. There was a play early where Schneider got beat by Beauvillier. There were a couple of risky plays, but then there was also the good plays in the D zone where I'm looking through the notes to like jog my memory with a few, but I mean, you had Adam Fox tying a guy up in front of the net. Zach Jones, how about him, who should have been in the lineup every day last year, realistically, especially down the stretch, but how about him just reading the plays well, just little step ups, making beautiful plays, executing breakouts. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention how good Keandre Miller was. Not just in the first period, the entire game, but really in the first period. I mean, he was playing mean. He was throwing the body like I've never seen him before. And this is what I want from him going forward. I want him to play mean, and I want him to throw the body around, make stick checking plays, and then getting in the passing lanes a lot too. He was all over the damn ice on both ends. I mean, he was stepping up at the right time too in the offensive zone, keeping pressure going for the Rangers. He looked good. And then Phil Petel too. He was someone that stood out to me on both ends of the ice, whether it was him getting in on the back check to break up certain plays, going the other way, keeping the offensive pressure going. He looked so good tonight. Then we fast forward to the second period, and there was a early penalty for O'Connor. The power play looked a little bit rough. Panarin had an opportunity there, but outside of that looked rough. Cooley then took a goalie interference penalty, but again, Jacob Trouba, he might play the best game I've ever seen him play as a Ranger. It's actually possible. I mean, he had a very good play on that penalty kill to stop a quality chance from being generated there. There were times, too, where he was getting in Crosby's grill. Like, he was making it tough for Sidney Crosby a couple of times in front of the net. I'm like, who is this man, and what'd he do with the real Jacob Trouba? Then you have Igor make a style stop on Bunting. And then how about this goal that nearly brought a tear to my eye? It nearly did, because Philip Petel, it meant something to him. It meant something to me to watch him score. You have Will Cooley coming down after he gets a pass from him in the neutral zone, and the play gets broken up, and then Phil Petel just snipes it filthy. Brought a tear to my eye. That third line in general, we'll talk more about it. But then Beauvillier with a chance at the doorstep stop, but that shift really wasn't bad in general with the way the Rangers defended it. They invited a bit too much pressure in that shift there, but I still thought that Mikolan was doing a good job getting sticks in lanes a lot of the time, and Victor Mancini too. I mean, for a guy who made his making his NHL debut on opening night, thought he looked good a lot there. And then this shift was really noticeable to me. They didn't score here, but it starts with Jacob Trouba making a tape-to-tape pass going the other way to Panarin. And Panarin continues to just apply pressure for them, and they were buzzing. Schneider, he was moving it well. Lafrenière, Carrick, and then eventually Brodzinski had a chance in front. Didn't go through, but they were testing Tristan Jarry a lot. Trouba unfortunately took his game-lead penalty because it wouldn't be a Ranger game without Trouba taking a penalty. But regardless, you have Mika breaking up a pass on the penalty kill. You have a shorthanded rush, which Trocheck gets a very quality opportunity on, ends up being stopped there the other way. Noted that Victor Mancini, by the way, was just pissing Sidney Crosby off. But Carrick, he had good work, which led to a shorthanded rush. I mean, they were just unbelievable. Kakko had a breakaway, got denied on it, but had a breakaway. And then we fast forward to the third period, where this was interesting to me. On the 4-on-3, they had Adam Fox set up down low. And I loved it because Mika set Fox up for an opportunity. Didn't go through, but regardless, I like to see Adam Fox being down low there. And he set up Kreider right before that period ended, the second period, that is, for an opportunity that got denied. I liked it. I liked the shakeup with the special teams. And I get it didn't work tonight, but give it more of an opportunity because you don't want to be predictable. That was one of my biggest complaints with the special teams, especially down the stretch last year, is how they became too predictable. Switch things up, and that could give you more looks. And again, there was just so many good opportunities. I mean, Kakko got stopped at the doorstep. You have Trouba winning puck battles. I mean, fighting two guys off to break the puck out. Good shifts again by the Panarin line. Keedle and Cooley getting a rush chance, but the net got missed there. Fox setting up a rush opportunity. Jarry making a big save on Cooley in front. Miller breaking up passes. Trouba again leading a rush opportunity for Braden Schneider, which he got stopped. Trouba again just making little plays. Like there were times in the D zone forcing Beauvillier to the outside, forcing the play to the outside. Man, Jacob Trouba, I cannot believe he looked good. Riley Smith then takes a hooking penalty. Shorthanded. Letang. Get your pocket picked by Chris Kreider, who comes in shorthanded, scores a goal and tucks it, doing his typical breakaway move, which hopefully that doesn't become too predictable, where he just, goes a little bit forehand, backhand, goes back to the forehand to tuck it in. But either way, yeah, I mean, you have the last goal there too, the Panarin line got going. Lafrenière fired one. Rebound buried by Trocheck. Nice to see him get on the board. And overall, an unbelievable game. They had 9 high danger chances in that third period. Unbelievable game from them at 5v5. And this is what it's about, though, man. This is what it's about. Developing habits early. Develop those habits early. Because I want to see this type of play most of the season. There are nights it's not going to win you games. There are nights it's going to win you games. But it's about, as Laviolette has said multiple times, it's about the process, and it's about executing the game plan the right way. It might not work every night, but it's about sticking to it. Sorry I sound the way I do. Just lost my voice at the Met game tonight, and talking for this long at a time definitely does not do any favors for that. But either way, I mean, it is hard. If you're going to ask me to pinpoint who played the best game, I don't know who you pick, man. I don't know who you pick, because Jacob Trouba and Braden Schneider, a pair that, I'm not going to lie, I was skeptical of when I saw the lineup. That might have been the best pair, but then you could also say Keandre Miller and Adam Fox, which Adam Fox, I didn't even mention his name once, really. He looked great tonight as well, too. I mean, do you talk about Jones and Mancini, who were probably the weaker links, but even then they played good? Like, it's not like they played bad and they were weak links. They played good and they just, again, weren't that noticeable. Or not that they weren't noticeable. I mean, they weren't as noticeable as the other two pairs, I should say. But again, it's not to say they played bad. And then the forward group, how do you pick what line played the best? Because I'd probably say the Lafrenière, Trocheck, Panarin line played the best. But, I mean, that third line of Hedl, Kakko, and Cooley, which Kakko, he played a pretty good game. I don't think, I could be wrong, he didn't get on the score sheet tonight, right? Yeah, he didn't get on the score sheet, but thought he looked good. That fourth line even, freaking good. I mean, outside of, the only guy that you could really say was not that noticeable on the fourth line was maybe Edstrom, but I still thought, again, he was fine. It's not to say he was playing bad. And then even to Zibanejad, Kreider, and Smith, a line that I was worried about. Do you want to nitpick and say Mika was the weakest link of that line? I'm not there, because if Riley Smith and Chris Kreider are going to perform like that, fine. It does not matter as much. But everybody played good. There's nobody to say on the score sheet. There's not a single player you could look at and say they were bad tonight. Like, you could only say, if you have a player that you didn't love their play, you'd have to say they were the least good tonight, because everybody contributed in some way. And it may have not been on the score sheet, but everybody got involved. This is the type of hockey they need to play going forward. Just as sustained offense, clean breakouts, generating odd man rushes. They generate like 11 odd man rushes. That's what it's about, man. That is what it's about. And when you're in the D zone and allowing that pressure, keeping the play to the outside. That's what we saw early on from this team last year. Please, for the love of God, do not fizzle out. But again, it is one game, so we'll see. Sucks that I couldn't do this post-game live right away after a really fun win. And it sucks that I can't give you like my 1,000% energy right now because my voice is shot. But I can tell you right now, October 12th versus Utah, you guys will be getting a full-on explosive level post-game here. I can tell you that right now, because no Met game that day. I won't be distracted, and who the hell knows? Maybe I go to the home opener last minute if tickets drop, but I'm not spending $250 on the home opener. There's no way of that. No way. But yeah, I'm going to get to the chat now. Before I do, leave a like on the post game if you haven't already. Subscribe if you guys are new. Turn on your notifications, but let's see what you guys are saying in the chat right now. As I need to can't talk. I need to take a sip of water right now before I keep going. Voice is shot. Truly is. David, what's going on? Carrick season. Sam Carrick played good. I cannot believe it. Good start to the season. Still a lot to prove, but you got to start somewhere. 100% freak. 100%. But this is the type of game you want to see. Near flawless performance tonight. Third line was outstanding, and Igor was locked in, which I didn't even mention that too. Igor wasn't tested too much with high danger chances outside of that first period, but when he was tested, he looked good. He looked good. I'm sure people are going to bring up the contract stuff, which, again, I'm not talking about that stuff. Just not. Plus, it's always fun to pants the Penguins. Yeah. Logan, what's going on? They were good at 5v5 for the first time ever. Good at 5v5 for the first time since the older core was playing, honestly. And that was kind of how they would play, where the 5-on-5 play was good. The special teams, a little more shaky, especially the power play, because the penalty kill was fine. The power play is really what I'm referring to there. Pens fans leaving and booing their own team was great. Yeah, I was curious where the fans were going. Like, you know, so much hockey left. There was 5 minutes left and the stands were empty. You would think that a comeback could happen within 5 minutes, you know? Well, my man, look who decided to show up here to complain about the preseason losses, but smashing the Pens on opening night. Yeah. Listen, that last preseason game was rough. It was rough. But I think Laviolette looked at it the same way and had them ready to freaking go correcting that shit, because that was completely different from what we saw on Long Island a couple days ago. And I get that's preseason versus regular season, but I mean, they did, like, you still want to get in game shape, I still felt, but again, maybe that's their thing. That maybe this is the MO that they're just going to lollygag their way through the preseason, then come opening night, they'll have a stellar performance, and then we have to just gamble of what the rest will be. Trouba earning the captain slot for the first time in his career tonight. Yeah, this was the first time in, I mean, ever I could really recall Trouba playing freaking great hockey. Let's see. It was amazing that they kept going and scoring. I was expecting a slowdown, but they didn't. Still, though, Zibanejad looked like shit. I wonder if an invisible night might be worse than Trouba. I don't think Zibanejad looked like shit. Was he noticeable? Like, out of his line mates, no, I'd say it was the least noticeable. I don't think I would say he played like shit, but I could get behind the fact that he does need to play better. I could get behind it, but it's hard to say he played like shit tonight. And that's coming from someone that nitpicks every little thing. You guys know how I am. Shiny looked good on his offside too. Maybe that will encourage more of the sort from Laviolette. That's what I'm hoping too. And man, if Mancini and Jones look this good together, and the D pairs in general look this good together, it's going to bring an interesting conversation when Ryan Lindgren's healthy of what happens here. It's going to be a very interesting convo. It was amazing that they kept... no, I already read that. Sorry. It's totally expected to slow down the second they stayed on the puck the whole game. Yeah, that's something that I want to see from them more, because there were times during the season where it's like good period, bad period, good, where it was so Jekyll and Hyde. Foot on the gas all the way through. And who knows, maybe I'm a dope and maybe a full year under their belt with Laviolette is what they needed. But again, I'm not going to sit here and jump the gun after one game, because I was all horned up after opening night 2 years ago and last year, and look at what happened. And at the end of the day, like, I don't want to be this guy, but it's kind of, it has to be said with the way we're talking in the chat right now. I hate to be this guy, but it is Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh's not that type of team anymore. They're not good at all. And it's not to diminish what they did tonight, because at the end of the day, you got to beat who's in front of you. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm complaining in that regard, but I'm just saying, like, let's not jump too far ahead here now. Because when we use it's one game when they lose, the same has to apply when they win. Got to be even keeled there. Carrickon ironically looked good tonight. Yeah, he did, and it's hilarious. All four lines were clicking tonight, and all four lines scored. Yeah, all four lines did score, and yeah, I wish that Cooley goal did stand. Nice 7-0 win. Told you not to worry about the offseason moves. We'll see. One game in, yeah. One game in, yeah. And listen, again, if it ends up being that way, good. Make me eat shit. I'm the last guy complaining. The last guy complaining if I look like a dope. I don't care. I ripped apart the Mets and look at where they are right now. Want nothing more than to be wrong. I want nothing more than for my teams to give me a reason to believe in them. The start of last season, Panarin was a nightmare in the neutral zone for other teams. As the season went on, he became a spectacular at center ice. Yeah. Panarin was noticeable on both sides of the puck, which was what's really encouraging about tonight. Jimmy, what's going on? Great series by the Mets and great win by the Rangers. Thank God the Mets won tonight, because I don't know how I would have handled this post game if the Mets lost tonight. Like, even though the Rangers won, it would have been like, I would have fell down in the dumps, to be honest with you. Miller threw a dude off the puck while he didn't have a stick. That was the play I was referring to. Nice to see him have some grit. He was throwing bod all night. He was so good. Loved it. Love Phil to shot, and I love how he's not afraid to shoot. Yeah, Phil looked good tonight for a guy who really hasn't played. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't played, like, do we really want to count what he did in the playoffs? Like, that was not the real Filipino. Like, we know Filipino was better than what he gave in the playoffs, and we're seeing it firsthand. Like, this is the first time since really a full calendar year, honestly, that we've seen, like, the real Filipino, excluding the preseason. Can't believe how many odd man rush opportunities the Penguins gave up. Well, when you have a slow team with your decor being the corpse of Chris Letang, Erik Karlsson, and Ryan Graves, and whoever else they're freaking trotting out there these days, it's not too much of a surprise, but it was more surprised the way the Rangers were actually generating those opportunities, because I'm just not accustomed to it. Why is Fox movement still a compromise? To be honest, he's never been the best skater, though. Like, let's be real here. He's never been the quickest skater in the world. Your Mets beat my Yankees to the NLCS. Congrats to them. One more win. We're right there. New York City winning a lot right now. And the Knicks are coming back to help with that even more. Crosby did cardio. Yeah. He did. Laf could go for 70 without power play 1 if he continues this buzz. So noticeable at 5-on-5. I don't want to get that ahead of ourselves here, but I mean, he looks good. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, he could play his way easily on the power play 1 if he's going to play like this going forward. And I don't think that's even a debate. Like, again, if the special teams do struggle like they did tonight, if we're going to do the, you know, let's run with the narratives of the first game type thing, well, then if this special teams look this way going forward, Lafrenière is going to get a look up there, and that could change things. The Lindor Grand Slam must have been an out-of-body experience in person. Not to talk too much about the Mets here, but yeah. That sent me, man. That was unfreaking real, the way that I felt. And I've seen so many good moments at the Garden, and this is not to take away from, like, seeing the Carl Hagelin overtime winner, seeing Barclay Goodrow's double OT winner last year, and all these other OT winners I've seen, like the Trocheck OT winner. But, man, that might have been the best sporting event I've ever attended. But I'm fortunate that I've attended a good amount of those. What's going on? Kaka was unlucky to knock out the score sheet. Yeah, he played good tonight. Igor was locked in after the taunts. I mean, the taunts didn't get to last long at all, yeah. Will I do a MSG live stream? No, if I go to the game, if I go to any games this year, probably not. Probably won't do any from the Garden streams. Maybe playoff time, but that's about it. Took their anger out in Pittsburgh after that game 6. Yeah. So also want to ask the who would I rather? I'm not picking my opponent there. If I'm gonna answer a Met related question there, I'm not picking my opponent there. Which, listen, I know we're talking hockey, but yeah, the Dodgers ended up winning. Okay, just wanted to check. So the Mets are the only team that has advanced so far. Love that. Love that. Who gets the A now since Kudrow is gone? Trocheck. I don't think they give anyone else a letter, which maybe you could argue Trocheck should get one, but I don't mind not giving out a bunch of letters anymore. If Smith fits well, what could be your 2025 trade deadline? I could see Lindgren first and Kakko being on the way out. I don't know. You'd have to ask me that question in a couple months. We're only one game in. I can't answer those type of questions, to be honest with you. But if Smith does fit well, then that gives the Rangers a whole new avenue to go down come the trade deadline, where they could focus on so many different areas, and it would just give them so much more flexibility to work with, depending on what is needed at the time. But I can tell you right now that if I had to make an early prediction, a defenseman probably will be needed, as I gassed up the defense and everything, but I don't know. I'm just giving you my early prediction on that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I can't answer deadline questions on October 10th. I just can't. To win against a team that hasn't made the playoffs for 2 years. Exactly. Like, again, great win, and you beat the team in front of you. You got to do that, but it's not like it's the best team. Very interested to see how Saturday goes, though. Like, Utah's a little more, Utah's a little competitive. Utah's a little competitive. And this is it, yeah. You got to build good habits. Anthony, I predicted him to win the Vezina. I predicted him to win the Vezina because of the contract stuff, to be honest with you. Hair's looking good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I do got to get it cut, though, a bit. Like, sides are getting a little long. I got to cut it a bit. I rarely let the flow out, but it actually doesn't look terrible right now, so we're going to roll with it. Igor giving out shutouts, better be consistent this year, then bring that to the postseason run. And if all that works and the Rangers can say shut up and take my money. That's the thing that I've been vocal about is if the Rangers found a way to get it done in June this year, then that changes my entire conversation, changes the entire mood, I feel. That changes everything in terms of an Igor contract, because then at that point, I'm like, all right, you proved you could win with him, fine, give him his bag. I don't care at that point. I got my cup as a fan, and at that point, you proved that Igor could be a reason that you win. So at that point, give him his money, fine, I don't care. But again, that's a conversation to have in June. Favorite NHL arena outside of MSG? That I've been to Scotiabank, because I'm not going to say an arena I haven't been to. It's not fair. But Scotiabank in Toronto, I love a lot. I do want to go back there at some point. Sucks that the Rangers play the Leafs only once this year, because I'd love to go back there, because realistically, I'm not going to be able to go. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'm not going to be able to go to Toronto, realistically. There's too much going on, and I'm burning my money on Mets playoff games. That would be more of a pipe dream, but I'd love to go back there. I do want to visit as well a couple of other arenas. I want to see Montreal badly, too. Montreal would be a sick arena to see. Luca, what's going on? Good luck with the new Puck Central channel for the season. Yes, thank you. And anyone that does want more coverage, hockey, league-wide, which, I forgot to upload my award and bracket predictions on that channel. I might just scrap that, honestly, so I don't jinx anything. But, yeah, I'm going to try my best. It's honestly going to be hard with the Mets doing what they're doing right now. Might be hard the first few weeks to keep up with that, because right now I'm kind of like out of touch with what's going on with hockey right now. So we'll see, though. I'm going to try my best to I'm going to try my best with that, though. But thank you. I appreciate that still, nonetheless. Oilers losing 5-0 at home is wild. They are. What's going on there? Let me check that. What's going on in the league? Oh, 6-0 now. Whew. Winnipeg stomping them. Vancouver beating Calgary 4-3. Golden Knights up on the Avs. That's freaking 6 goals on 18 shots. Do not miss Alexander Georgiev at all. And then the Leafs got shut out. That is the most Leafs loss ever. 48 shots on goal, getting shut out 1-0. And Cole Caulfield scored. The Leafs in midseason form. There you go. Georgiev got chased in Vegas. Yeah, that sounds about right. I am definitely in a good mood, even though I am an exhausted man right now as well, because the amount that I screamed at that Met game has like drained me to the point where I'm kind of like a quarter of the way asleep right now, to be honest with you. And I'm surprised I'm even going right now. I don't even know if this post-game stream is good, to be honest with you. Like, this is probably a terrible post-game stream. I'm not even going to like deny it, between my voice being shot, between the content that I'm giving you guys, and I do apologize for that, but I'm like a quarter of the way asleep, man. I got to be honest with you. I'm not the sharpest right now. And it's a little more difficult for me when I have to watch these games. And it's unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, but also unfortunate, that the same deal is going to happen next Thursday when the Mets play in the championship series, which I cannot believe I'm even saying those words, man. I can't. But when they play the Detroit Red Wings on the 17th, I will be at the Met game that day. I'll probably end up doing, I don't know how I'm going to go about that one, because I guess I'll do a post game the day after for that one. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out, but yeah. Either that or I'll get a substitute, because I don't know if I want to leave you guys hanging too much there. But I'll figure it out. I'm not that worried right now. Much props to me for holding it down with the Mets and Rangers coverage, as well as the new Puck Central channel, W Work Ethic. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. I wanted to stay at Citi Field and like be at the block party and stuff after the game, but I'm like, I can't. Gotta get home and watch fire up Max and watch the Ranger game. Can't do it. No time to celebrate. If the Mets obviously do the special thing, then that's completely different. I mean, even if they win the pennant and say that's in 5 games and I'm in attendance for that, then that's very different. But yeah, for the division series, I was like, all right. But I am going to wrap things up here. We're approaching the 40-minute mark. I am really tired right now. Now I have to go to every Mets game. It's amazing how the Magic turned around. The Mets couldn't buy a win in the postseason when I went. Now, I don't know, but listen, if that's the case, fine. But anyway, that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, it's gonna be a long season. Year 4 of doing these streams or recap style content, because it was videos then streams. Regardless, year 4, it's gonna be a wild one. Thank you guys for watching. Great start to the season. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you guys are new. Turn on your notifications, and let's hope they can grab another win against Utah on Saturday. See you guys in the next one.